Hello and welcome to the 2019 Summer B section of Philosophy 6. My name is Mia Wood. I am a philosophy professor at Pierce College and I'll be your instructor. I'm looking forward to working with you, and to that end, in part, I am going to take some time in this video to welcome you to the course by giving you a tour of how the course is laid out in Canvas. In part, what you will see is what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, and in some cases, why we're going to do it. Now, I want to remind you that because this is a short semester, we are compressing 15 weeks into 5. That means that you're going to need to be on top of your time management skills, and you'll also want to take advantage of any support that I can offer you, both in terms of what's available on the course, as well as tutoring from Pierce College and office hours, virtual office hours that I will offer. If you cannot make an office hour but you still want to meet via video conference, let me know and we can set up another time. And then of course I'm also available via email. All right, so I'm going to give you a tour of Canvas. I'm going to show you how the course is laid out, and we'll talk a bit about what's involved in the Logic in Practice, also known as Critical Thinking course, that at Pierce College is called Philosophy 6. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are on the dashboard page. This should be where you land when you first log into Canvas. And then as you can see, I've got 2 courses on my dashboard. I'm going to click our course, Philosophy 6. So you land on our course homepage, and everything that you need to work on the course can be accessed from this homepage, either by way of the buttons on, or the links rather, in the left margin, or the middle of the page, where I hope everything is laid out pretty straightforwardly. So for example, you're watching the Start Here Welcome video, and then you'll see a link for our course's textbook. And then for each week that we're working together, there is a page. So each week is laid out the same way. There's a read section, a watch section, and a complete section. Now I know there's a lot to look at here. That's largely because we've only got 5 weeks together, right? So that means we're compressing 15 weeks into 5. So there is a fair amount of reading to do, and then I offer you a fair number of videos. I'll come back to the videos in just a moment. And then there's also a fair amount of work to complete each week. So my advice to you is to break your week up. So the first part of your week should be devoted to one of the 2 chapters listed, and the second part of your week devoted to the second chapter that's listed, in this case, respectively, chapters 1 and 2. You've got discussion forums to complete, you've got reading quizzes to complete, and then depending on the week, I'm just going to click on the next button so that we get to the next week's work. Depending on the week, you will also have an exam to complete. So again, everything is laid out week by week the same way: read, watch, complete. Now let me go back to our home page because I want to alert you to our textbook, or sorry, where you're going to access the textbook. Obviously you just saw, for example, if we go back to week 1, you can access the textbook within a given module's page. You can also access the textbook by clicking on the link under textbook, workbook, and exercise keys rather. And here you'll see that our textbook is laid out chapter by chapter, as well as is each chapter each of the chapter's exercise sets, and then the keys and discussions of exercises. So there's nothing for you to purchase. You've got everything you need right here in terms of the material for the course to read. And then, as I mentioned a moment ago, you've got videos as well. So between what you see for the readings and what you see for the videos, you should be covered. All right, so I'm going to come back to our home page, and I'd now like to talk a little bit about the videos. You're probably going to find as you go forward that that some videos are either redundant or repetitive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It kind of depends on how you're doing in the course, but it I give you a fair number of videos to look at, to watch, so that you have your bases covered in terms of concepts and skills that we're working on. And this may be particularly helpful with some technical material like what you're seeing here in week number 2. All right, so my advice to you is as follows. Take a look at the basics videos first, or read the text first. Then take a look at a given assignment. So, for example, take a look at what the discussion forum prompts are. And then you might go back into the text for a specifically focused read on the prompt material. Then think about completing the reading exercises, or sorry, the reading quizzes as you go back into the text. And that's because, by and large, the reading quizzes ask you to focus on content knowledge, right? What are specific terms and concepts that we're going to be using? And then also um, maybe complete some practice before you tackle a specific exercise involving a skill. Now you might say, wow, you can do all that while while you've got a quiz open. Yes, it should be the case that by and large, the reading quizzes are open long enough once you click the begin or start button to have your textbook with you and to work on exercises. That said, you might, if you feel like that you won't have enough time, maybe complete your reading, watch some videos, do some practice, and then complete the reading quiz. But consider working on your discussion posts first. One last thing I want to mention is this. If you have had any trouble with an exam, or you just don't like your score, there are retest opportunities for the first 3 exams. There are no retest opportunities for the 4th exam. I just don't have enough time in the semester to offer that. But once you've completed an exam, you will have an opportunity to retest it through the end of the semester. Now, I think I've got the deadline for each of these the day after our semester ends. I think our semester ends on August 18th, but I leave the retest open through the 19th. And then I will look at your work on the 20th. That way, you've got a little bit of extra time to get work done if you've been struggling a bit. But I do encourage you, speaking of struggling, to let me know whenever you've got problems, questions, problems, confusions. I will have weekly office hours. If you can't make office hours, please be sure to schedule something with me and by something I mean schedule a meeting with me. We use the Confer Zoom tool. It's a video conference tool. It's like a FaceTime type tool. And if I'm not mistaken, we have an embedded tutor. So this is all online. It's not like you have to come to the Pierce campus to meet with me, or meet with a tutor. All right, so I hope this overview is helpful to you, and I'm looking forward to working with you this summer in Philosophy 6.